Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of DreamSpace ByteSize here in One Microsoft Place in Dublin, Ireland. My name is Michael.
And I'm Niamh.
In our last episode, we learned all about algorithms and how important they were to make sure they were clear and in the correct order or correct sequence for both humans and computers to understand. We even created our very own algorithm to get Little Red Riding Hood to her grandmother's house.
We hope you enjoyed using algorithms to solve problems. However, today we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be coding, and we're going to actually be coding one of these little things called a microbit.
Before we get coding though, we need to make sure we remember all the skills we learned over the past 4 episodes. So let's have a quick review of them, Niamh.
Sounds good?
In episode number 1, we were learning how to break down problems into easier steps, and we even used this to make our very own origami dog.
In episode 2, we were looking for patterns in problems, which we then used to make a key, and our key was about natural materials.
In episode number 3, we were focusing on the important details, or more specifically, the important details we wanted to include in our pixel characters.
And in episode 4, we were creating step-by-step instructions, or as we know now, algorithms, to solve problems in our favourite stories.
Before we get going though, we want to ask you a quick question. What do you think of when you hear the word code? Now is a good time to pause and discuss this at home or in your classroom. So hopefully now you've had a good discussion about where you might have heard the word code before, or what do you even think of when you hear the word code. But Niamh, what exactly is code?
Well, code is the step-by-step instructions that we give a computer in order for a computer to do something.
Just like the languages we use to talk to one another, code is just a list of languages we use to tell our computer to do something. But it doesn't always have to be a computer, it can be any technology really. It could be our video game consoles, our tablets, or our mobile phones.
And in order to practice our code today, we're going to set ourselves a vault. So today we are learning to code all about ourselves.
Yeah. And as you can see here, we have some examples of block-based coding and some examples of our microbit as well. But what is the microbit, Niamh?
Well, that's a great question. The microbit is a microcontroller, and it's like a mini computer. It can do loads of different things. It has 2 different buttons, and it has pins along the bottom.
Before we get coding on our microbit, Niamh and I are going to review some of the key terms and words we're going to be encountering. The first one is blocks. The microbit uses MakeCode, a block-based coding language. So these blocks are really easy to use. They're all color coordinated and they all fit together just like Lego.
The next one is a C-shaped block, and today we're going to be using the onStart C-shaped block. And something that's really cool about the C-shaped blocks is that the other blocks actually slot inside of them.
Our next one is string. Whenever we want our microbit to say something, that's the block we're going to use. It can be letters or numbers, it's up to us really.
And the final one we're going to talk about now is our Show LEDs block. And this one's really cool because we can design our own icons and stuff using the Show LEDs block. So at the moment, all of the different squares are turned off. However, if they were white in color, that would mean that that square would be turned on. So that actually represents one of the mini LED lights that are on the microbit.
Actually kind of reminds me of the pixels we were learning about a couple of episodes ago, Niamh, doesn't it?
Exactly, it's pretty much the same thing.
Now guys, we're going to jump over and actually get coding on our microbit.
So now we're going to get started on our code. But first we need to go to the Make Code for Microbit platform. So I'm going to type into my web browser, makecode.microbit.org.
What's a great thing to remember, guys, is that we may have some physical microbits here, but this website is completely free and you can test out all your code there, so you don't actually need anything. You don't need any resources at all, really.
No, so no physical microbit is actually needed. Okay, so this is the home page, and there's loads of cool things on the home page.
What are those, Niamh? Those tutorials?
Yeah, so there's loads of preloaded tutorials already on the Make Code for Microbit platform that you can follow along in your own spare time. However, today we're going to create our very own project. So I think we're going to go back up here and we're going to click on New Project. What do you think we should call today's project, Michael?
What about ByteSize? Make sure it's fitting.
That sounds good. Great, so now we've given our project a name. Let's create our project, and that'll bring us into our workspace or our work area. Okay, so we're just waiting on our microbit to load. Great, so we've got a blue microbit today. So that changes color every now and then. Okay, so we've got our microbit or our microcontroller over on the left-hand side. We've got our categories in the middle, and we've got our work area where we're going to do all of our code over on the right-hand side, and there's actually 2 blocks already in it. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at our microbit, and I'm going to go through the different features that our microbit has. So over here we can see that we've got 2 buttons. We've got button A and button B. So that will be useful throughout our episodes. Along the bottom we've got some pins, and with the pins we can actually connect up speakers and external things to our microbit. So they come in useful as well. Underneath we can pause our code, we can restart our code, and we can even go full screen once we have finished all of our code. So that's pretty cool feature, but then in order to exit full screen, we just have to click on that icon again. Okay, so that's our microbit. Here in the middle, we've got loads of different categories. And Michael, do you want to tell everybody what's super cool about the categories?
What's great about them, guys, is that they're all color coordinated, meaning that if we ever use a block and you're wondering, oh, where did Michael and Niamh get that block? Just look for the color and you'll be able to find it in that category.
Exactly. And then over here, as I already mentioned, this is our work area. So this is where we're going to be doing all of our coding. And actually we've got 2 blocks here. So we've got our C-shaped on start block, which we've already mentioned. And we've got a forever block, which is another C-shaped block. Now today we're not going to be needing our forever block. So I'm going to show you how to delete a block. Okay, so you just grab onto it, or if you're using a mouse, you click on it, and then you drag it over to the middle area beside the categories, and you see that purple bin that comes up? You just let it go and it gets recycled into the right category. Okay, so we are going to be using our C-shaped on start block, so I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so now I'm going to go through some of the blocks that might be useful to us in today's episode. So I'm going to go into the basic category, and I'm going to show you 4 blocks in particular. The first one I'm going to show you is show number. And Michael, do you want to explain to everyone what the show number block does?
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about earlier on a term called string, and the string is when we use our words and numbers. But when we use the show number block, we can only enter a number into that space, can't we?
Exactly. So it only shows numbers. Okay, then our show LED block. So I explained that a little bit earlier on. Our show LED block is really cool because we can create our own icons, we can light it up, and we can light some of the boxes up, and we can turn the boxes off then if we make a mistake. So it's really cool. What about the show icon block, Michael?
Just like our show LEDs block, we can use the LEDs that are on the front of the microbit to show different images, but MakeCode already has some in there for us that we can pick from. It's like a gallery.
Exactly. So they're preloaded already, and they've got a variety of preloaded icons on there. And then as Michael already showed and explained earlier on, our show string, which we can include different letters, characters, or numbers. So we can have loads of different things in our show string. So now would be a good time to pause and think about what you want your microbit to say about you. And bear in mind the blocks that we're after going through with you.
Brilliant, guys. So hopefully you had a good discussion and were able to focus in on the important details you wanted your microbit to say about you. It's now time to start placing our first blocks of code, so head over to the makecode.microbit.org website as you can see on the screen right now. Brilliant. Okay, so Niamh, I think now it's time for us to start placing our first blocks of code and show everyone how it's done.
Great idea. And our vault for today was to use code to describe all about ourselves. And I'm actually going to describe you, Michael. So I'm going to break it down. And the first thing that we generally try to find out about somebody is their name. And I already know your name. So I'm going to use a string to show your name, Michael. Okay? So I'm going to go down here and find my show string. I'm going to drag it out. And I'm going to connect it inside of my onStart C-shaped block. But at the minute it's already started because it starts automatically on start, because it already has hello inside of it. So I'm going to click into it, I'm going to cancel out hello, and I'm going to type in Michael.
Brilliant.
Okay, so now when it starts again, it's going to automatically show Michael. That's our first block. The next thing I'd like to find out is maybe your age, Michael, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm 23.
Okay, so Michael's 23, and we're going to use a show number block to show Michael's age. So I'm going to drag it out, and you have to be careful where you place it. So if I pop it in here, that's going to be the first thing that's going to happen in our sequence. Okay, but I actually want it underneath Michael's name, because I think his name is more important than his age. So I'm going to type in here, and I'm going to type in 23. Okay. So now I've got 2 blocks of code in my algorithm. Okay. So I've got 2 blocks of code, a string and a number. And as you can see, if I restart my Microbit, it's going to start from the top. It's going to say Michael, and then after Michael, it's going to say 23. Woo! Okay, so now let's move on. And what else would I like to find out about you, Michael? Well, how are you feeling today?
Feeling quite happy, actually, yeah.
Okay, so Michael's feeling happy. So how about let's use a show icon block to show Michael's emotion. So I'm going to drag out my show icon block. And again, I want it at the bottom of my sequence. Okay, so I'm going to pop it in there. And I'm going to click on the little arrow beside my show icon block, and there's loads of preloaded icons. So there's loads of smiley faces, sad faces, there's loads of things there that you can go through. However, Michael said he was feeling happy, so I'm going to pick the happy smiley face as my third block. Okay, and again, what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go full screen, and I'm going to restart my Microbit. So it's going to start at Michael, then it's going to show his age, and then it's going to show his emotion.
I am feeling quite happy today, yeah.
And there's Michael as his happy human being that he is. Okay, so that's 3 pieces of information. So how about we create our own show LED? So maybe what would I like to find out about you, Michael? What other piece of information? What's your favorite animal?
It's a tough question. Probably a dog, I'd say, Niamh. Yeah, probably a dog.
Same as me. Okay, so I'm going to drag out my show LED block, and I'm going to pop it over to the side for a minute. And I want to show you something here. Okay, so at the minute, my show LED block is after turning a grey and yellow colour. And that actually means it's not connected to my program. So it's not connected to my program at all, which means that when I go to play my program, or when I go to start it, it's not going to show my show LED. Okay, so I have to make sure that it is connected. So at the minute, I have a bug in my code. Okay, and I need to debug, and I need to fix that mistake before I want it to actually show in my program. So I'm going to grab it again, and I'm going to connect it into my program. And now it's after going back to its nice blue color, which means it's connected again. Okay, so you said your favorite animal was a dog, just like me, Michael. So I'm going to try and recreate a dog using the show LEDs blocks. Okay, so in order to turn on the LED lights, we need to tap on the square. And if it turns a white color, that means that it is turned on. Okay, so we've got our 2 dogs' legs. And now we do the body. Okay. I think that looks good. Might give our dog a tail. And then I might take these actually away and put our dog's head there. Brilliant. How does that look? Look like a dog to you?
Yeah, it looks like a dog. I think we should test out all of our code.
Exactly.
See how it's going.
So now I'm going to actually go through it first. So that's a great idea. We'll test out our code, but let's go through it and make sure we're happy with our code, and then we'll test it out. So we've got our string, and we want our string to occur first. So our string says Michael. Then we've got our number. which is 23, your age. Then we've got our icon, which is your smiley face. And then we've got our show LEDs of your dog, or of a dog. So let's go full screen. And let's restart our simulator and have a look. So it says Michael, your age, 23, smiley face, and then our icon of a dog. So now let's review today's episode. So let's first look at the skills that we used today. So Michael, what skills do you think we used today?
Oh, we used a lot of skills. Like we were breaking our problem down into its easier steps so we could follow along. We were sequencing, we were putting all the coding blocks into the correct order. We wanted them to be shown on our microbit. We were even creating our algorithm, an algorithm all about me actually. So we definitely achieved a lot of skills and worked on a lot of skills in this episode.
We did indeed, and we also definitely achieved our vault. So today we set out to learn all about code and to code about ourselves. So we definitely achieved that one.
Yeah, you coded all about me, Niamh, so we definitely achieved that one too. And our final one, our most important one, did we have fun, Niamh?
We had great fun.
We had a lot of fun, okay? Now, guys, it's time for you to start coding all about yourselves, okay? So break it down. Think about what you want your microbit to say about you, whether it's your name, your age, show your favorite animal, just like we showed a dog on our microbit. You could show your emotion, or you could even code about your friends, just like Niamh coded about myself.
Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We hope you have great fun learning to code yourselves and code about yourselves using MakeCode for Microbit. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode as we create animations to start moving.
Go over to aka.ms/DSByteSize for everything you need to follow along with this episode and all of our other episodes too. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Slán!